Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. This is probably not a video that you were expecting to see from me. It's not a video that I was expecting to film because basically over the last week I have tried twice, two full true efforts to film the How to Stay Positive Life with LAN chatty video, and both of the times it failed. I did not like how it turned out. It felt super untrue to myself to be sitting there and just talking about all of these things that are making me sad and how I can try and make myself better after spending an hour talking about it. And I thought instead that I would film a positivity routine for you guys. As silly as that may sound, I figured instead of sitting there watching me talk about my feelings and having me be mopey because I'm sitting there talking about my feelings, I would instead show you guys my actual actions on how I wake myself up during a day and make myself better and get myself out of a funk. And that's what I wanted to do instead for you guys. So this morning I woke up, and I actually woke up really early. It's 11:15 a.m. I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, and I decided to cancel the gym. I was just feeling, sometimes you just can't put your finger on it. I was just feeling sad. Yesterday I had a really sad day, and that's something I don't typically show on YouTube or show at all. It's not I don't typically show it. I don't show it at all. I don't show myself when I, like literally yesterday, I had uploaded my Dior foundation review video, and I went and was reading the comments, and they were just, not that there isn't such a beautiful, positive community that I have on YouTube, but some of the comments can just be so mean, and as much as I try to ignore it, sometimes it just really gets to me, and sometimes this whole YouTube social media world just gets to me. And if you're already dealing with stuff on a personal level and then you're dealing with this kind of stuff at work, it just gets to me. And yesterday I just laid in bed for like 3 hours. I laid in bed. I was just feeling so upset, and I couldn't bring myself to exit the bed. But I had to because I had people coming over, so I eventually had to get up. I didn't put any makeup on. I was just feeling mopey, and I just let myself endure this mopiness. And I think that's kind of my number one biggest tip for you, is if you're having a bad day, to not try and fake it, to not try and push those feelings aside. But sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to get certain things done, and you don't have time, or you can't afford to let yourself have that time to reflect on your emotions. But I think it's really important to let yourself feel that way, figure out why you're feeling that way, and kind of embrace it for a little while. But when I woke up this morning and that feeling kind of didn't go away, I was like, all right, today I have to get shit done. Canceling the gym wasn't a good start. I definitely wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend getting your workout in, but this morning I just couldn't do it. So instead I just got up, I had a shower, I blow dried my hair, I had breakfast with Dan, and then left to go do his thing. And I don't know how to explain it, you guys. Sometimes you just feel sad, and sometimes you just really need to pick yourself up. And one of the ways I do that is what I showed you guys already this morning. I like to make a tea. I just made a plain black English breakfast tea. The warmth just soothes the soul. I put it in my favorite A mug. This is from Anthropology. And it just, you know, the bright colors and everything just, I don't know, they do something to brighten the mood, and having that warm caffeinated beverage seeping through my soul makes me feel better. And then I have a little cuddle with Meryl, and then my moping moment is over. Time to bump the tunes. I put on my Better Not song, and I have a little dance, and I'm like, okay, time to get this mood out of my soul. And that's a big thing for me. When I'm feeling sad or feeling down, it's really important for me to not listen to the sappy, sad music to help aid that mood. I need something to get me out of it. So putting on my cruising playlist that I have on my Spotify that has all my bumpin' tunes. I sometimes put on my workout playlist, put on some hardcore gangster rap, and just get yourself out of that headspace, especially if you're someone who works from home. And I mean, I work from home, and I live in Vancouver, and today it's rainy and miserable, so normally I'd say like, go outside, go for a walk, don't make a coffee at home, go out and make yourself get out of your house and go buy a coffee and just have that stroll and breathe in that fresh air. But on a day like today where it's just rainy and miserable and gloomy, I need to do stuff myself to perk up my soul, because I gotta film, I gotta get going, I gotta get my day started. So blasting a bumpin' playlist is definitely key for me, and that kind of starts to get me out of my funk. And then I sit and look at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, oh my god. I then feel miserable about how I'm looking. But that's another thing. When I'm feeling sad, if I'm having a crappy day, making myself look good on the outside does wonders for the inside. So this would be the next step in my morning kind of getting out of my funk thing I do. I'm gonna put some makeup on and that's gonna make me feel so much better. I'm gonna do my hair, I'm gonna put a banging outfit on, and then I'm gonna go about my day and I'm gonna feel a lot more fabulous because I took that time to kind of pamper myself and make myself look good, or feel like I look good at least. That's what matters. So that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna play with some new makeup because that's my friggin' favorite thing to do. And while we do so, I'm going to answer your guys' questions and responses to the tweet I had tweeted out. I had made a tweet saying, hey guys, I'm filming a video on positivity. What are some certain topics and pieces of advice that you would like me to discuss and say in the video? And so many of you guys responded. Thank you so much. Thank you for being involved in the making of this video. So I figured that while we were making ourselves feel better on the outside, we'd also discuss our feelings and talk about some of the things that you guys tweeted to me. So I hope that's all right with you. And we're gonna, you know, do some makeup, put some makeup on. I'm gonna use my Smashbox primerizer as always. And I'm actually not gonna use my L'Oreal Lumi. I always want to say gloomy, but it's Lumi Glotion. I actually have my entire bag for Portugal packed thus far. Sorry, I'm gonna tuck my hair. I hate to do this because I look like George Washington, but it's just gonna have to happen. Yeah, I've already packed up all my makeup bag. And I put my Lumi Glotion in there to take along with me. Look at this. This is another thing that happens when I'm feeling sad and stressed. I actually get stress breakouts. Like I was sitting there laying miserable on my bed, and when I woke up in the morning, this wasn't here, and then throughout the day, this rash appeared. It's gone down today. It's usually like a 1 or 2 day thing, but I literally get a rash when I'm feeling extra stressed and sad. It's absolutely wild. But anyway, primerizer. Always make your skin feel so alive. Caitlin Minturn said, I feel like your spirit is so beautiful and bright, but I know life throws everyone challenges. If you're feeling overwhelmed, how do you process that and how do you manage that? Really quickly, I'm just going to take a little mixture of the Cover FX custom cover drops. I'm going to add a little bit more of the primerizer and just put some glow. By the way, when I'm feeling miserable, all of the glow is necessary. I want to erase the misery. Don't worry about my Cristiano Ronaldo statue face right now. It will be covered. A lot of you guys, I get a lot of comments from you on YouTube and Instagram and whatnot saying like, oh, it always seems like you're so positive. You always seem to be in a good mood. Like, how do you do it? What are your tips on how to always be positive? And I think that that's the biggest thing, the biggest misconception. And someone actually tweeted a really good article in response to this tweet. I will list it in the description box down below. I also forget who tweeted that at this exact moment. It's basically an article about positivity versus forced positivity, and that's another thing that I've already talked about at the beginning of this video. Is I think it's unrealistic to pretend or try to be happy and positive all the time. Everyone has their days. Everyone has something going on. It's going to be a different experience for everyone, and I think it's important to recognize that just because you're not seeing the bad days on social media and seeing the hard times that people are going through, it's because a lot of the times they don't want to show that. Not even just to not be vulnerable, but you know, if someone's having marital problems or relationship problems, that's not something that they're going to post about on Instagram. You know, if you're having an argument, you're not going to pick up the vlog camera and film yourself having an argument with your spouse or significant other. Like, that's something that's just not really shown online. So I think a lot of the times when, you know, breakups happen, it always throws people for a loop because it's like, wait a second, you guys looked so perfect, it was so great, what do you mean, all these things that you post? And I think it's because people, you know, cope with their issues in a different way. If they're really struggling in a relationship or in their personal life, having YouTube or Instagram or a blog is kind of like an outlet for them to look at all the positive things. They want that space to curate this positive area or space for them to go to when they're having these tough times in their personal life. So I think that's an important thing to recognize, is that just because if someone like myself seems positive all the time, that's because I have these days. I have days like yesterday where I just lay in my bed all day, and it's so hard for me. It's basically impossible. I can't fake being happy. I can't fake being positive and go and turn on the camera and film a video because I'm not in a positive space on that day. And I don't want to sit and talk about makeup when I'm feeling positively miserable. You know, I can't film a favorites video if I just feel like crying, or if I had been crying that day. It's not realistic. So, but I also think it's important to talk about stuff like that, to relay the fact that, no guys, hey, I had a really rough day yesterday. I can't film today. And someone will be like, oh, you're making excuses, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's important for people to not pretend like every day is magical, blissful, unicorn heaven. And so I just can't stress that enough. Everyone goes through their own problems. Everyone's experience is going to be different, but everyone does go through bad times, and I feel like that kind of gets lost on social media because social media is a curation of all of the happy parts and the happy bits that we go through in life. So I feel like that was a long ramble, but I just wanted to get that point across that we all do have our challenges. We all process you know, grieving and sadness and bad days in our own unique way. And I think it's important to process it. I think it's not good to bottle your feelings up inside. I think it's important to vent and to talk to someone, whether it be a family member, or your boyfriend, or your friend, or a therapist, whoever. I think it's important to release those feelings and embrace them and acknowledge where they're coming from and why you are feeling a certain way. Yeah, anyway, that was a long ramble. Next question. Your Twitter name is IE from E. IE from IE. Great Twitter name. I'm so sorry if I butchered it. She said, have you ever felt down and unmotivated while studying at uni? I'm already on my last year, but just want to give up and sleep the semester away. And there were so many comments about university and studying in particular. And I just have to say that I'm the worst person to talk about anything university related because I fully embraced the C's get degrees mentality in university. Because if you guys don't know, I've done university chat videos in the past. I might have to do another one because it's pretty dated, it's pretty old. I think it's 3 years old at this point. I filmed it at the beginning of my last year, so yeah, it would have been 3 years ago. I've now been graduated for almost 2 years. That's so friggin' wild. I can't believe how time is flying. But I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I did my first year in engineering. I failed. I got kicked out of engineering. It was the worst, most depressed time of my entire life. I was so lost. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I thought that like by failing engineering that I like failed my life. My family was so disappointed in me. I went through such a rough year. But anyway, I did that year of engineering. Then I did a year of chemistry, and then I was like, screw this, man. I can't do sciences. I am so bad at this. And then I ended up switching into communications, and that was when I started YouTube. I found myself a little hobby that made me really happy, and you know, God bless that my hobby turned into my current career, which I'm so thankful for. Because to be honest, I was feeling super lost and I was feeling super unmotivated, and I was literally the queen of procrastination. I would have a 12-page paper due the next morning and I would write it the night before. Like, I just didn't give a damn because I just thought like none of this is gonna matter. Like, I'm doing a communications degree. No one cares if I get an A++ or a C. As long as I pass, I don't care. And I know that that's so not the right mentality to have, because if you did get an A, there's scholarships to be had. There are so many benefits to doing well and succeeding. Just my personal case, I didn't like what I was doing. I was doing it just for the sake of getting a degree. And I was absolutely miserable. The second I graduated school was the happiest I've ever felt in my entire life, because being in school was pure misery for me. I hated it. I hated that I was a good writer, so I thought, and one professor would give me an A on a paper and another professor would give me a C on a paper, and I'd be like, I don't understand. I just didn't get it. I was like, screw this, screw the education system. I hate it. I graduated with $45,000 in student loans. I'm still paying them off monthly. I guess that any motivation that I had while in school was just my pure burning desire to get it over and done with. I was like, well, frig, you know what? At the end of the day, I hate what I'm doing, but I'm here. I want to get this degree. And in order for me to get this degree, I have to pass this damn course. So I'm going to write this paper. It's going to be pulling teeth. I'm probably going to have to drink 12 coffees. But I so badly wanted the degree to be over and done with that is what made me do it. So if you're feeling unmotivated, just sit there and being like, the more you don't do it, the longer you're going to have to be there dealing with it. So just get it over with. That's all I can say. I'm such a pessimist when it comes to school. I'm so sorry. But just do it, man. Just do it. You're gonna feel so much better once it's done. Get it over and done with. Let the suffering last as little time as possible. So I guess that was not necessarily positive, but that was my mindset when it came to school. By the way, I'm still using my broken ass Kevin Aquan sculpting powder. I refuse to give it up. Kayla Johnston says, how to become more positive in the morning and motivate yourself to get out of bed. Once I'm up and at work, it's okay. It's just getting there, that's the problem. And I am so the same way. Absolutely. Morning time is such a struggle for me because I really struggle with sleep. Not falling asleep. Falling asleep isn't my problem, but lately I've actually really been having a problem with staying asleep. And you know, by the time the morning comes, if I booked a morning workout class, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so tired. There's no part of me that wants to leave this bed right now. And I think you almost have to look at it like a competition, almost. Not a competition, but kind of. First of all, one of my downfalls is spending so much time sitting on my phone in the morning. Something that really really helps me is like following other motivated people, like being really inspired and motivated by others. So for example, this morning I was sitting there laying in bed and I was watching Jamie Page's Instagram story, and she was in her sports bra talking about a protein shake. She's like, I just did my workout and I'm having this protein and blah blah, and I was like, son of a bitch. If Jamie Page is up and at it and she just went to the gym and she's gonna be filming, I know she's gonna be so productive. I'm like, what the frig is my excuse? What's my excuse? I'm perfectly healthy. My body is perfectly fine. I have no ailments. I have all my limbs. Why am I sitting here in bed being a big mope? And as long as I can get myself from my bed to the coffee machine or to the fridge for my Califia cold brew coffee, that's all I need. I just need to stand up. And I think sometimes it's just kind of like a mental battle that you'll have with yourself. And for me, just asking myself, why am I not? What's my problem? Half of the world is getting up and they're feeling tired and they don't want to go to work. But any successful person, they didn't spend their day laying being sad and miserable in bed. They got up and they got shit done. And if you don't do it, someone else is going to. So friggin' do it. At the end of the day, find something that will motivate you and do it. A lot of people asked about motivation in general, just being re-motivated when you're in a rut in any particular space in your life. Sorry, I really need to do bronzer. I've been postponing this for a long time. Just like some people would say, I'm feeling unmotivated to go to the gym. I'm feeling unmotivated at school. I'm feeling unmotivated at work. I'm feeling unmotivated just in any general sense of the word. And I think it's such a personal thing. It's going to be different case by case depending on what you're dealing with. It's going to be different for every single human. But for me, when I'm feeling unmotivated, like, and I can only really talk about like the gym and YouTube for itself. And you know, when I'm feeling unmotivated with YouTube, something that I like to do, what I really like to do is just go through all of the videos I like to watch. Like, what inspires me? What do I like to see? What do I like to watch in the world? Who do I follow and what are they doing? Like, kind of go towards your likes. Like if you're feeling like you're in a career rut and you're not loving what you're doing, what is it that you love? What is it that would bring you happiness every day? What would bring you joy going to work? What would make you get out of bed and want to go to work, you know? We're not a slave to our situation. Everyone has a chance to get out and do something different. There's no excuse really, because if you don't do it, I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I always tell myself is if I don't do it, someone else will. And what's stopping you? What's stopping you from doing it? That's kind of my mantra, if you will. But in terms of re-motivating yourself, like especially when it comes to going to the gym, I'm such a culprit of canceling the gym. I always skip the gym. I'm the worst. But the thing that kind of motivates myself when it comes to the gym is my own personal body. Like if I start to feel tired or if I start to feel different, I start to feel a little bit more flabby. Like it's amazing how long it takes to get muscle and to feel fit, and then how quickly it dissolves. Like I skipped the gym for a week and suddenly my legs were feeling just more heavy and more tired, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to feel this way. I want to go to the gym. I want to work out and I want to feel healthy and comfortable in my body. I'm kind of going off track here, but with fitness in particular, I think it's so important. It's so hard to not compare yourself to others, but it's so important to not compare yourself to what someone else is doing, because everyone else is going to have their own fitness journey, health journey. This is Jouet Champagne, by the way. So you know, when I sit there and I look at all these like Instagram Fitspo, Fitspawn, whatever, all these active people on Instagram, in particular, all these fit channels and these people who literally devote their life to fitness is wrong, because I am not devoting my life to fitness. Why should I have a six-pack and these tiny ass little waists and these giant butts? Because they're going to the gym 3 times a day and they are spending their life focusing on that fitness and focusing on what they're putting in their body. And I know I'm not. I know I'm not going to go to the gym twice in a day. So how can I compare myself to someone who is? I needed to find a fitness routine that was realistic for me and made me feel good about myself and my own body and skin, etc. And going to the gym for 2 hours at a time twice a day is not it. If I wake up and I go downstairs to the gym in my building and I run on the treadmill for 5 minutes and I do 5 minutes of stretching, I feel amazing, because that's still more than I would have done had I just stayed in bed. You know, going to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, that's all I really have time for, and that's all I want to have time for. I want to do other things. I want to hang out with my friends and see my family and go and do fun stuff. You know, I don't have time to be showering and constantly worrying about my sweaty ass hair all the time. I think the most important thing to motivate yourself to be fit or to go to the gym or to be healthy is to not compare yourself to others, because everyone's situation is different. This is Nudie's bareback, by the way. And to really find something that works for you. And when people just don't do it, they're like, oh no, I have no time. It's like everyone has time. Everyone has some time in their day, even if you only do a 10-minute workout, a 5-minute workout, whatever, just moving your body in some capacity, just embracing that healthy lifestyle, I suppose. There's always going to be time for it. That's going to be my answer to everything. Someone else is doing it, so what's your excuse? It's not very helpful, is it? But honestly, this is what I tell myself. This is what motivates me. A lot of people were asking about tips on self-esteem and how to love yourself and love your body and all that stuff, and I think that that's a video that I should do entirely separately. I think that's a topic all on its own. So if you guys would like me to do a video strictly devoted to self-esteem and body image and all that kind of thing, I would love to do it, but I think that that's something I could talk about for a long time, and I don't want to focus on too much in this video. So let me know if that's another video that you'd like to see. I was gonna do eyeshadow, so this is actually really funny. I bought all of the Dior stuff, filmed my review, and then I actually this morning, the entire Dior backstage collection came to my front doorstep, and it included the eyeshadow palettes, which are things I hadn't actually picked up myself. So stay tuned for a little giveaway. There's actually gonna be a lot of giveaways when I get home from Portugal. But anyway, this palette came in and I thought I would use it because they look so beautiful. It also has an eye primer in here. Maybe I'll try that out. Let's test out this primer here. Ooh, that's a nice color. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. Don't expect anything magical and miraculous from me in this moment. This is the 001 Warm Neutrals palette. I'm realizing halfway through this, I'm gonna have to title this something with positivity and motivation, because I feel like they've really gone hand in hand in all of the conversation that we have thus far had. I already mentioned that I think it's important to not expect yourself to stay positive and happy all the time, but just in terms of tips on how to be happy or to be a positive thinking person in general, some people might have mental ailments that prevent them from doing so, but for the most part, for me, it's just about having a positive mindset or wanting to be that way. There are sometimes, like actually a few weeks ago, for those of you who follow me on Twitter, you might have seen this. I tweeted something about me complaining, like I needed a video on how to stop complaining, because that particular week I was just in such a negative headspace. I was complaining about everything. I was upset. I was in such a bad mood. And Dan made a comment. Dan was like, babe, you're complaining a lot right now. Like, what's up? And I was like, excuse you for pointing out my flaws, but also thank you for pointing out my flaws, because it took someone saying something to me for me to realize that I had been doing this and being this way for an extended period of time, and that's what kind of threw me. That's what made me further reflect into myself, and I was like, wow, yes, I am complaining a lot right now. I need to stop. Oh dear. And I actually ended up talking to my friend Dima that day about it, and I was like, oh my god, I'm just complaining so much. Like, I'm just feeling so sad and like negative towards everything. I don't know what's going on. And she was like, all right, like no complaining for the rest of this week. And and we kind of made a joke out of it. Like that night we had gone to the gym, we did a Tabata class, and instead of our usual moaning and groaning, being like, oh, I don't want to do this class, I'm so upset, we sat there and we were like, we feel so blessed that we're able to move our bodies and we're gonna sweat profusely and whatever. Like, we just made a joke out of it. You make light out of it. And I think in any kind of situation, you know, sometimes shit just sucks, and you just have to embrace that and allow yourself to, you know, be upset. But sometimes, you know, in certain situations, you choose to look at the most negative part of it or the worst case scenario, or you can choose to look at a positive part of it and the best case scenario. Sometimes you get caught up in all the negative and bad things that happen and whatnot, but if you can take a moment to take a step back and reflect and think to yourself, why am I feeling this way? Why am I choosing to look at the worst part of this? I can choose to look at the most positive aspect of this, and instead of dwelling on the worst case scenario, dwell on the best case scenario. What's really gonna happen? What could happen? What do I want to happen? And how am I going to make what I want happen? Really long. That was really long-winded. It probably didn't make sense, but that's how I feel inside. I also just really need to reiterate the fact that, like, putting makeup on really does just make you feel better. Even this process, just sitting here and talking to the camera and putting my makeup on and covering up my zits and making myself feel better, it just wonders. I already feel like I just feel that, like, sadness lifted from my brain. Makeup, I love you. Speaking of love, this is the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade number 3. I'm going to fill in my brows with this. Just a little bit. I don't want to go too crazy. I just feel like having a shapely brow today. And then I'm going to use the Benefit Gimme Brow in the shade number 2. Ooh, I didn't realize I grabbed 2. I'm going to use this to set those hairs in place. Get the fibers up and rolling, make my brows a little bit more thick and out to play. brows are on. I'm gonna move to mascara. This is the Almay Thickening Mascara. This is such a good mascara. It's so volumizing, and it's like my favorite mascara I've probably ever used from the drugstore. It's so good. I also love how small the wand is. And I'm not just saying that, y'all. The ad was already done. This is not an ad. Look at that lifting and thickness. It's great, love it. Lips, I'm gonna use Makeup Forever 5C lip liner. Line the lips. Such a necessary step in my opinion. And I also wanted to try these. I saw Sam using them in her latest vid. It is the Marc Jacobs Sugar Enamored Hydrating Lip Gloss Stick. I went and bought 2 shades up at Sephora. Went and bought, picked up 2 shades from Sephora. This is Sugar, and this is Mocha Chocolata. Sugar. A lovely light nude to go over my lip liner. That's nice. Glossy it is indeed, but quite a lovely, it's very minty. I love me some mint. And that's the finished look. I'm gonna really quickly put an outfit on and I'll be back to chat with you. So I just put an outfit on. I put on a bright color to, you know, picketh up my spirits and try to bring some sunshine to this rainy, gloomy day, but I also put on black to not stray from the sadness too much. That's a big tip, y'all. Big tip to get motivated. Get dressed and put makeup on. But not just get dressed. If you're feeling like crap, put an outfit on that you know you feel amazing in. You know, if you're like, yo, I feel banging and badass in that blazer and in those pants, put those on. Put the go-to outfit that you feel amazing in on your body. And now that my makeup's done, my hair's done, and my outfit's on, I feel a bajillion times better in just talking about my feelings and getting it out and venting there. And even though I'm sitting here alone in my bedroom venting to a camera, it's still venting in some capacity. You know, I'm talking about my feelings. I'm not bottling it up. So that's that, guys. This was the most random, longest, most rambly video ever, but thank you so much to everyone who sent in their responses and comments and questions on Twitter. I really do hope that this was helpful for you guys. It's not what I had planned to do with this first Life with LAN kind of series. I attempted and failed at filming this video twice already, so this is the 3rd attempt, and it's what I'm sticking with. This is what we're getting. But for future videos in this Life with LAN series, I might actually sit down and do proper chats, especially when we talk about sex, baby. Anyway, I hope that this video was helpful to you guys in some degree. I hope that you enjoyed it. I love you guys a lot. Thanks for sitting and listening to me ramble, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!